Cruise news time. Well, somebody in the financial industry wrote a report yesterday, and that report was so negative toward Carnival and the cruise industry that all the cruise stocks tanked. That's amazing how that works. And also, there's some drama out there in the world regarding Crystal Cruises. Like, you figured the Crystal deal was settled. Well, now we got a fight between three cruise lines trying to get a hold of one of those Crystal ships. And let me ask this question: Disney, what are you doing? Disney Cruise Line, what are you doing? Like, I know that you're a premium cruise line, but $5,000 for this? Wow, that's that's a set of stones, crystals, as it were. I'll tell you all about it. Cruise news. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates, and I am here on location at Key West, Florida. I'm in Key West, Florida today on Virgin Voyages, the Scarlet Lady. I've been on this cruise ship for less than 24 hours, and my mind's blown a little bit. I'll tell you more about it as time goes on. Here's just a little bit of just Miami as you sail away. I love when you can juxtapose the ship moving against a stationary skyline. I'm over-explaining the clip, but that's what's going on. Cool sail away yesterday, but more to talk about. But also, it's a big day for me, and I'm trying to keep it in check because today I'm on a 5-year odyssey. There's something that started on our very first cruise that involves Key West, Florida, and a lobster roll. And if you know, you know, and if you don't, well, I'll clue you in on the story as time goes on. But today I can finally bookend. I can close the chapter, I think, on the lobster roll, and just let you know I'm prepared. I've again, if you know, you know. Today I've got cash. I've got my credit card. I transferred money over into my crypto wallet. I brought 2 live chickens to barter with, and I'm willing to unbutton the top button, whatever it takes to close this chapter today. It's going to happen. But first, I gotta get to the cruise news. I got to tell you guys about the cruise news. And the first thing was a big story that happened yesterday. There was an analyst for Morgan Stanley that looked at the cruise industry, looked at the economy overall, and said, well, I think there's a challenge for the cruise industry. There's a challenge for Carnival in particular. Carnival, because they're carrying a high load of debt, over $30 billion in debt. And even though they had a good earnings report that many of the analysts warmed up to, there's one big linchpin that could make the whole house of cards fall down. Is that enough cliches for you? It's this: if a global recession causes demand and bookings for cruises to go down, then Carnival will be forced to borrow more money. And because of the position that they're in right now with their already high debt load and the way that debt load is structured, this analyst is suspicious as to whether or not they would be able to borrow the kind of money that they need to sustain themselves. And again, this is all predicated on global recession making cruising demand go down. And so, it's all speculative, but what happens is when somebody with authority, like this analyst from Morgan Stanley, when they put out a report like this, well, it spooks investors. And so you had investors spooked yesterday, and we saw cruise stocks just drop. Carnival dropped, I think, close to $2 yesterday. I believe it started in the $10 range. It ended up in the $8 range. And this analyst even went on to say that he felt like if things went way, way, way south, that Carnival could end up at zero. And so, as you can, of course, that's going to spook investors. So that's not great news overall, especially if you bought cruise stock at a higher level. But it could be okay for people that are thinking about buying cruise stock. Again, let me remind you, the stock market is like gambling. You put your money in, and there's no guarantee that you'll get that money out. And there is a possibility that you'll lose all of your money. So be careful. But if you've ever thought about getting cruise stock, it could be a time to investigate that. As stock prices continue to trend down. As long as they don't trend down to zero, you got a good chance. Plus, there's stockholder benefits, which I've talked about in a previous show. But wow, how about that? what kind of that's some serious influence. Like if you're curious whether or not you have influence, could you imagine like writing a report and whole industries dive, their stocks dive? That's pretty wild. Okay, cruise news story number 2. And look, if you guys know me, you know I enjoy a bit of drama. Well, there's a lot of drama surrounding Crystal Cruises. You know the saga of Crystal Cruises. Their parent company went out of business. They went bankrupt. Creditors swooped in and put a hold on the assets of Crystal Cruises because they owed money, and a judgment was placed against them for fuel that they had purchased. And then eventually, 2 of their cruise ships, the Crystal Serenity and the Crystal Symphony, they were auctioned off, and they were auctioned off to a firm called A&K Travel, Abercrombie and Kent, not to be confused with the clothing line. And their goal was to resurrect the Crystal brand. And so they bought those 2 cruise ships, and then they also bought the branding. They bought the Crystal brand, or they're offering money, I think it was $13 million, to the creditors so that they could own the Crystal brand. Now, the only challenge is that those aren't the only 2 cruise ships. There's a kind of a super yacht expedition cruise ship called the Crystal Endeavor, and behind the scenes, there's been some speculation the Crystal Endeavor has been sold to the Royal Caribbean Group brand Silver Sea. Now, Silver Sea was unable to verify that, and so it continues to live in the speculative realm. Well, now there's a third player in this dance, Ritz-Carlton Yachts. And that's what they do. It's Ritz-Carlton, like the hotel brand, but it's their yacht division. And they're out there saying that they believe that they have the highest bid on the Crystal Endeavor. And so does Silver Seas, do they have it? Does Ritz-Carlton have it? Well, Crystal, A&K, Abercrombie, and Kent are saying, well, why, this is dumb. Like, you should just let us buy the Crystal Endeavor. Well, like, we should be the winner or the purchaser of Crystal Endeavor. Why would you break up the team? Why would you break up the band? And so nobody really knows who's got the lead on Crystal Endeavor. But interesting. This drama at the highest level with millions of dollars online, possibly billions of dollars online. And just from an outsider looking in, of course you're going to go, well, yeah, they should keep all the Crystal ships together. But then if you're an independent investor like a Ritz-Carlton who could rebrand this as a Ritz-Carlton yacht, if they get this piece of hardware for a really good price, well, why wouldn't they do that? Why would they care if they break up the Crystal brand? It's a competitor anyways. Break it up. Give me that ship. And then who knows what's going on with Silver Sea, because the mum's the word. I don't know. So dramatic. What do you think? Should they break up the band, or is that just the way life is? To the victor goes the spoils. If you won the auction, if you won the bid, then you get the cruise ship. How about that? Now, I got a couple big Disney Cruise Line stories, and one of them is a little bit mind-blowing. Disney's expensive, but this is the $5,000 for this one thing on the Disney Wish. Interesting. But before I get there, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Thank you in advance. All right, the first big Disney cruise news story is yesterday in Port Canaveral, the Disney Wish was christened. They had their christening ceremony in anticipation of their beginning passenger sailings on July the 14th. And this was really a special occasion. Of course, all the pomp and circumstance that normally comes with this, Disney characters galore, executives from the company. But the real feel-good moment of this story is what Disney did when it came to the godmother of the cruise ship. Cruise ships have godmothers. Well, Disney made the Disney Wish about godchildren, and the godchildren are children from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And so this is a really touching thing where they brought up 3 ambassadors. 3 Make-A-Wish kids came up and they did a blessing for the cruise ship. And so I think it's a really nice and, again, heartfelt thing that Disney incorporating the Make-A-Wish kids with an aptly named cruise ship, the Disney Wish. So kudos to Disney for that. Best of luck for the sailings of this new cruise ship. May it be safe and all those things. And then on the heels of that, this fantastical story hit Twitter yesterday about Disney Wish's premium drink. One drink. I paid $5 for a beer yesterday. Well, imagine a $5,000 cocktail called the Kyber Crystal. All right, did Star Wars fans, did your lightsaber just activate with the news of a Kyber crystal drink? It might have, but then if you put that with the $5,000 price tag, maybe not. So, like, if you're not into the Star Wars universe out there, the lightsaber is the weapon of choice for the Jedi and for the Sith. And those lightsabers are powered by a thing called the Kyber crystal. You got to have a Kyber crystal. It's what gives your lightsaber its color. There you go. That's your Nerd 101 for the day. And so it does have a lot of meaning to Star Wars fans. But instead of me trying to describe it to you, let me just show it to you. This is from Brandon Davis's Twitter account.
Cheers and welcome on board the Disney Wish.
All right, so $5,000. Looks like you get a couple shots. Hopefully you get to keep the mechanism that came in. Like, hopefully that's a big souvenir cup. Wow. Like, yeah, that's a funny thing, too, if you think of it in that context. How many places are charging you, like, $12 to $20 extra for a plastic souvenir mug? Maybe the cost is in this container. I would be serving I would have that container at every meal at my house. Like, oh, chicken wings, pancakes, I don't know, cantaloupe. I needed to make it healthy. Wow. The thing that always comes to mind when I see some sort of extravagance like this, at what point in your income trajectory does $5,000 not seem like a lot for some sort of cocktail? Like, or do you think there's hardcore Star Wars fans out there that'll be like, yeah, look, I gotta have it. 5 G's. Shaboom. I don't know. I'd love to hear what you think. Time for you to sound off in the comments. Thanks so much for checking out the show today. I sure hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can show your support by hitting the like button. And unfortunately, if you don't hit the like button, I will be forced to punish you. And your punishment will be this. You will plop down $5,000 for this cocktail. And the mechanism will only work one time. You're going to get it home and you're going to push the button. And the thing's not going to open. And you're going to be like, wow, can I get a refund for that? And they'll be like, yeah, sorry, no refunds. Or we'll send you a future cruise credit. How about that? Hit the like button. You don't have to worry about that. This is Tony for La Lido Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido.